Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today, let's take a look at the 2026 BMW M3. This model is finished off in Tanzanite Blue Metallic, and the MSRP is just shy of $90,000. We have a few options for this model, giving it a really nice design and spec overall. So let's start off with what this is powered by, which is the 3-liter twin-turbo inline-6. This model here is paired to the 6-speed manual transmission, so it pumps out 473 horsepower, 406 pound-feet of torque. It is rear-wheel drive. It'll do 0 to 60 in just over 4 seconds with a top speed of 180 miles an hour. Now, as we work our way to the exterior styling, you'll notice a lot of gloss black for this particular model. It does have a forward-facing camera. There's all the parking sensors, lots of cutouts in the entire front section to provide additional cooling. There's a dark housing for all of the LEDs, and then some really nice hood lines that blend in nicely with the size of that grille. Now, this does have an optional set of wheels that are finished off in gloss black, and there's the gloss black for the M Sport brakes. You'll notice it's on the lower side skirts, which protrude outward slightly to give it a nice sporty look. It's also on this M3 comp badge for that trim accent. There's power folding side mirrors with the camera and the turn signal, and then this has the carbon fiber roof, which has really nice lines running down the center there. And then there's also some clean lines flowing down the side just to give it more of that luxury vibe. Now you'll notice a small trunk mounted spoiler. There's the backup camera, LEDs for all of the lighting, and then the quad tip dual exhaust. Now, being the manual transmission, you do not have a remote start for obvious reasons, but you can use the button on the key fob or the release underneath to gain access to the cargo space. Where, as a sedan, this is very practical. You have some storage bins on both sides, no storage under the floor, but you can fold down the back seats. So that just gives you a lot more interior space when needed. And then you have 2 buttons up top to close that trunk or to lock the vehicle. Now, if you do lock it, just grab any door handle to lock and unlock the vehicle. And then this model is paired with the Tartufo merino leather interior. There's Harman Kardon for the audio, interior lighting, brushed aluminum accents too. And then as we fold this one side down, you can see how large this opening is. So you can place in a lot of items. And then at 5'10", I have a good bit of space. There's vents, some climate adjustments underneath that, along with auxiliaries there. And I have about a ½ inch or so of headroom, so it's honestly pretty comfortable, at least for my height. You can fold that middle seat down there if needed. And then as we work our way up front, this does have memory seats for your driver, and then all of the controls are finished off in brushed aluminum. You have the trunk release and more storage down below. Now, you do get automatic front seats with 1 manual support for that leg adjustment, and then M3 is also up in the headrest. Now, with my foot on the brake and the clutch, we can start this up. And we are greeted with the leather steering wheel with the flat bottom design and lots of carbon fiber accents. There's also M1 and M2, so you can use these to go through the driving settings. Cruise control settings are on the left. There's also volume tuning, Bluetooth, and voice commands. Now, you can also use this button in the middle to go through quite a lot of content in this digital gauge cluster. So just depending on what you would like to see, you have a lot of vitals that you can monitor and view. You can also go into the head-up display and pull up a few settings within that too. Now, there's storage on the left. There's also headlight adjustments and 1 air vent. And then with the infotainment system, you have fixed information in this lower section here where you can always get to all of that. And you also have all of the controls down below. So you don't have to use this as a touchscreen system, which is very helpful. There's Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all of the lighting. You have quite a lot to gain access to. There's also the home screen, which you can customize with all of these widgets, depending on what you'd like to see. And then you can easily get into all of these adjustments here. Now, this also has heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, and then temperature adjustments are on both sides. More carbon fiber, more ambient lighting. There's vents in the middle, volume and tuning, some defrosters too. More carbon fiber down below where you get storage, cup holders, and auxiliaries. And then to put this into reverse, simply just give it a good push to the left and forwards, where there's the backup camera. Now, even with this manual, you have automatic parking, which is for parallel parking. There's backup assistance, and then you have the 360 view to give you plenty of visibility around this entire vehicle. Now, you can also bring up the forward-facing camera in full screen, which is nice to see. Now, there's parking sensors, engine start stop, and then setup is how you can go into M1 and M2 and configure those as needed. So you can go between efficiency and Sport Plus. There's also M mode, so you can change both the gauge cluster and the head-up display and have a little bit more of a sporty view. You can also still pull up information on this left side as well. So if you want to pull up some more sporty information, you have another setting to configure, and then you have the full RPM gauge up top. There's also an exhaust note, the e-brake, traction control, wireless charging is in the center armrest, along with an auxiliary. There's also a locking glove box, and then garage door buttons and dome lights. And then here's a look at visibility, where you have quite a lot of glass. So it's a very easy vehicle to see all around. And we're still in the Sport Plus setting, second gear. Here we go. And just a mild acceleration up to speed. Obviously this has a lot more potential and just a fun vehicle to drive. So this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the last generation M3 before we get something, I'm assuming, completely different. Maybe it'll have the same screen and just some updated software features and things like that. But definitely a nice place to be. Seating position is super comfortable too. You can also opt for the carbon fiber bucket seats, which I have been able to film in the M3s. That is something that I would highly recommend. If you have the body type for them, they are super comfortable and they hold you well. But these, obviously a little bit better, more comfortable of a daily driver seat. They still have good bolstering support and it's a nice option. Now, as far as headroom goes, I have about 3 inches or so at 5'10", and the seat can still go farther down, which is really nice. So you can be taller than me and still fit comfortably behind the wheel. Now, as far as maneuverability goes, this also has the backup assistance and the parallel parking feature, which is nice. So if you're driving in the city, you can use those features as needed. Now, the turning radius on this is pretty good. I swung it a little wide there, but you definitely have a tight steering there, which of course is what you would like, but still going to be something that's very maneuverable, of course. And you just have a very well-rounded, performance-oriented vehicle that you can daily, you can run errands in, and then you can take it to the mountains or the track and really have a fun driving vehicle. We can also just put it into efficiency now, so while we're stuck in traffic here, everything is going to go into the comfort settings, including the suspension. So yes, you can adjust the suspension where it will get a little bit more comfortable, and again, depending on the driving that you are doing. But that is going to wrap it up for the 2026 BMW M3. Excited to see what BMW comes out with for the next generation year. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this for me today. Give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads, and I will see you all in the next video.